Peace, peace, peace and blessings, everybody. Trying to give you all a couple minutes to come in. Um, I got a lot on my mind today, so I'm going live. Make sure you all like the video so we can beat YouTube's algorithms. So like the video and share it so that we can again try to beat YouTube's algorithms. Um, YouTube is, of course, doing a lot of censoring of people. So make sure y'all like the video and share it. Because got some stuff on my mind that's really, been bothering me that I kind of want to come and have a conversation with my community about, and hopefully you all can rock with me. Lord have mercy, I'm getting text messages. Um, Let me go ahead and get started because I don't want to be here. I don't want to be here too long. Um, so, I've been paying attention to what's happening around the media, I'll say. And I'm really concerned about, autonomy, especially over our bodies, the ability to make our own decisions and not, have our livelihood and things like that taken away from us. Um, that's something that I've been really concerned about. So I wanted to hold on just a second, y'all. It's hold on. Um, Sorry, just a second. I'm getting a lot of messages. I hope this doesn't happen the whole time. Sorry, y'all. Peace, peace. Like the video, share it. Make sure y'all like it and share it so we can beat YouTube's algorithms. Make sure you like and share the video. All right, so let me get back to why I'm here. I've obviously, like a lot of people, been paying attention to what's happening in the media, to what's happening, you know, around, forcing things on people that they don't want. I did a live on Sunday, so hopefully you all caught that. You kind of know the spirit of where I'm coming from. Come on in, come on in. Make sure you like and share the video. We want to try to beat YouTube's algorithms. Google owns YouTube, so you know that they are certainly censoring information and censoring people. So liking and sharing the video kind of helps to beat their algorithm. Anyway, I titled this "What's Going On and Do We Still Believe in Self-Determination?" As African people, as black people. And that's a question, to y'all. Put in the chat, do you still believe in self-determination? Or do you check self-determination at the door when it comes to people in power or when it comes to the media? I'm really concerned about where we're going. Um, Around, of course, Biden got on the news today and announced that he is making the COVID-19, not all vaccinations, but the COVID vaccine, he's making that mandatory for federal workers. That's a problem. Yeah, full self determination. That's a problem, people. And I hope you all see it as a problem because that is not informed consent, family. I encourage you all to do some research and learn what informed consent is. That's not informed consent, that's force and that's coercion. And that's forcing somebody to do something under duress. So the exchange is, well, we're going to take away your livelihood if you don't get this vaccine. What kind of choice is that? That's not a choice. That's force. And I'm not getting ready to do no history lesson right now. But the fact of the matter is that we do have a very, very long history, a long record that we can look at, where we see anytime this government has forced something on us, it's never ended up being good for us. And here's the thing: you don't have to be necessarily anti. Her sis last night, turn away from Eurocentric, which has been done. Okay, I couldn't read your entire comment. I'll try to get back to your comment the person that just left the comment. I apologize. But we're moving away. Thank you all for coming in. Make sure y'all like and share this video to beat YouTube's algorithms. Anyway, I got off track trying to read that comment. These are very dangerous times, family. These are very, very dangerous times. The COVID-19 vaccine is approved under emergency authorization at the FDA. That's not a fucking conspiracy. That's the truth. It is against federal law to require somebody, force somebody to be a part of a clinical trial. And that's exactly what's happening. It's approved under emergency authorization because it has not been through all 3 clinical trials, which is what's required by the FDA. Now, these are their rules. This is a part of the government, and these are their rules. Now, there's a federal law. I'm getting ready to get my notes. There's a federal law. I hope I got my notes. Yeah, here it is. There's a federal law that's never been tested, and it's around informed consent, and you can go and check it out yourself. It's USC, which stands for United States Code 21, Section 360 triple B. The law has never been tested. How can we combat it as a group? We can combat it as a group by everybody on their jobs organizing. You can organize on your job. You still have a legal right. Organize with everybody on your job. These people are not going to shut down their businesses if they have enough people that say, well, we've all kind of banded together, all 500-600 of us, and we've decided that we're not taking the vaccine. So it's kind of like up to you where you going to find some new employees to come replace us real quick. So you can organize. But it's again, these people are forcing people to be a part of a clinical trial. This is unprecedented. And I'm shocked at the so-called conscious community, and I'm shocked at the so-called advocacy and organizing community. These people know that this government, this United States of America, has never done anything that it was meant us any good. Right? Why aren't we leaning on the teachers of our master teachers? Why aren't we leaning on the lessons of the past? I do not understand the silence that is taking place in our community. And you're right, it's not just the US. You are absolutely right. It's worldwide. And it's certainly connected to the fourth industrial revolution. If you watch my channel, and I hope that you do, I'm going to encourage each and every one of you. It's time well spent, family, to go back and look at episode number 5. You can go through my videos, episode 5, 7, and 10. And I'm interviewing a researcher. She's a white woman. I'm interviewing a researcher who has broken down. She's made all of the connections for us. And she predicted back in December when I first interviewed her, she predicted that these people will come up with something called a green pass. Now, the green pass has not been implemented in the United States, but it's been implemented in Israel. Again, I'm not coming with conspiracies. I'm coming with things that you can actually go and read about. It's well documented. And I'm also not against, just so you know, I'm also not one of those kind of people that will immediately dismiss somebody and say, oh, it's a conspiracy, because I feel like if it's documented and in my mind, if I can make the necessary connections and it makes sense to me, then I'm good. And that's what I ask you all to do. I hope that you all process information the same way. But I'm coming live because I'm really, really concerned that people are about to roll over and just abdicate their human rights. I can't believe more people don't see this as crazy. How the hell can the president of the United States force federal workers to be a part of a clinical trial? If the COVID vaccine has been approved under emergency use authorization, which is absolutely the truth, that's not a conspiracy, that's fact. And in order to be fully approved by the FDA, again, these are their rules. You have to go through 3 clinical trials and a whole bunch of other things. They're very meticulous about it, right? You got to check off certain boxes. That hasn't happened for the COVID-19 vaccine. So essentially, the people who are taking the vaccine voluntarily or now that are being forced, because this is forced, when you tell somebody that in order to keep your job, you got to take this experimental vaccine. That's forcing people. That's coercion. That's coercion. That's under duress. So you gonna take food out of me and my kids' mouth to take this vaccine that I don't want to take? You know? So this is why it's extremely problematic, because you forcing people to be a part of a clinical trial. That's exactly what it is. Ain't no way, ain't nothing. Now it's fine if you volunteer. That's fine. Millions of people have volunteered, and I'm okay with that. What I'm not okay with is forcing people who don't want it. You're gonna dangle my job over my head, y'all. We entering into very dangerous waters with that. Very dangerous. And you can tell it's all coordinated. It's all coordinated. Facebook, Google, Lyft, Washington Post, a bunch of major private employers all announced at the same time that they're requiring, right? They're requiring people to get the vaccine in order to keep their jobs. Now, what they're hoping that they can do, yeah, well, I believe you can't sue the pharmaceutical companies. That's the other thing. Thank you for asking about the government. I believe people, yes, you can sue. I know you can sue private employers. So I'm not a lawyer, y'all. I think these are questions, if we can, that could be directed toward like a Black Power lawyer, like those lawyers that did the live that I actually unpacked on my Sunday live. So if you guys can go back and check that out, yeah, your job, yeah, they're dangling people's job over their head. Hmm. This is very dangerous. And I think as a group, as somebody asked me earlier, it's going to be up to people to organize themselves and organize with other people on their job and say, well, I guess we getting ready to shut down the federal government because 60% of the people say they're not taking it. That's what I hope is going to happen. And I hope that's what happens with all of these. And that's the other thing. Google, Washington Post, Facebook, all these employers, most of your employees can work from home. Why are you requiring the vaccine? What they do is on the computer. They can stay home. They can work from home. These people are paying Black entertainers. They're offering conjugal visits in prisons in exchange for the jab. And again, this is all news where you can go and find it. Right? I just saw where Washington, D.C. So, for people who don't know, Washington, D.C. passed a law, a city-based law, that they can vaccinate children without their parents' permission, down 12 years and older. Washington, D.C. Today, the mayor announced that they're gonna require masks again, whether you vaccinated or not, starting Saturday. That's fine. Okay, wear a mask. But what's not okay, they are offering AirPods to children 12 to 14 years old to get vaccinated. AirPods. Coercion. Y'all, there's been protest. The media hasn't been covering it, but because I have friends and people that I know in other countries, there's been huge protests by white people in Israel, the UK, France, all over Europe, Australia, protesting the Green Pass. So the Green Pass, that's what I was trying to get to earlier. The Green Pass is an app on your phone that will keep your medical information, and you have to scan it. You have to scan it before you can go into a restaurant, before you can go into grocery stores, before you can go anywhere. And I think it's interesting because the biggest pushback has been in Israel. Think about it. Like their history. Show your papers. Ed, as far as what's wrong with the vaccine, hey, all I'm saying is it should be a choice. People should have the right to self-determination. We should have the right. It's our bodies. What happened to that? I thought Democrats and liberals believed in it's my body and my choice. What happened to that? Or is that only for abortions and killing babies? What happened to my body and my choice? What happened to that? That's all I'm saying. If you want to volunteer and get the vaccine, go right ahead. You ain't hurting me. Yes, AirPods for the vax. Yes, it's sick. And I can't believe more people can't see like see this shit. The writing is on the wall. Yes, India is undercounting deaths. I've read about that. This is worldwide. It's not just the United States. And it's definitely connected to the fourth industrial revolution. I'm going to invite you all to come back. I'm going to have an in-depth interview again with Allison McDowell. Again, for people who are just coming into the stream, you need to make sure to come back tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Make sure you come back tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Allison will be back, and she will be talking in depth about what's called the Internet of Bio Nano Things. That's a mouthful. Internet of Bio. Yeah, Allison is dope. So if you haven't watched episodes 5, 7, and 10 on my channel, that's your homework. That's your homework. And you'll see, like, once you start watching, you'll start seeing the connections. She don't talk about like the vaccine or like COVID specifically. What she talks about is the finance. What she talks about is the new sort of like fourth industrial revolution that like makes all the connections of like how everything is rolling out and playing out. You know what I mean? Make sure y'all come back tomorrow night for that. That's going to be powerful. We'll probably be on for about an hour and a half. Allison is very, very well researched, so we may go a little bit over. But like nanotechnology, that's not a conspiracy, right? Like, Google it. They have conferences. I think what the problem is around informed consent. People should have the right to say what goes inside of their body. You have the right to self determination. Right. Transhumanism has singularity. She's going to talk about digital twinning. So some people in here, y'all already know what's up. I see. The vast majority of us don't know, though. The vast majority of not just black people, but white people too. The vast majority of people, period, like have no clue what we're in for. I was actually shocked for people who I don't, I know people are on the fence, or may some people don't like him, some people do, but I did watch Tariq Nasheed's Buck Breaking, and I was actually shocked that he touched on transhumanism in that. He actually touched on that. He didn't get into it like in depth, but he made some connections to it that I thought were very, very, very interesting. Um, anyway, I'm not going to continue to ramble, but I just want y'all to think about that. Think about your self determination. Think about um, the right to have autonomy over your temple. Your temple is your body. You know, your temple is your body, and you should have a right to not be forced to be a part of a clinical trial. I don't want to be a part of no clinical trials. None. Yeah, transhumanism, BGS, I think will actually emerge before 20 years. The way shit is going, how they forcing some of this stuff, I think I think it'll be implemented before 20 years, sadly. But yeah, I think that all of you all who are in the comments and watching, you should think long and hard about what you're willing to do and what you're not willing to do, and the consequences of that, and how you need to adjust. It's getting real, right? You need to think about that. All of us need to think about that. I'm thinking about growing up on a farm in Alabama. For people who don't know me, I talk about it all the time, but I think about growing up in the rural South and the things that I may have to do again that I never thought about, right? Like, yeah, somebody just said off the grid. Unfortunately, though, with the way things are going and the biotechnology, that's why y'all need to come and watch the show tomorrow night. Off the grid is not going to even be an option anymore. And you'll see why. Because once the nanotechnology actually gets into your body, they tracking you no matter where you are. I hate to say it like that, but that's what it is. I appreciate y'all for rocking with me. I appreciate y'all for coming in. Hmm. But yeah, you're right, BGS. The world is headed that way. Um, yeah, share this video with the folks that you know, folks that you love. Uh, and I think we need to have some conversations off of this platform where we can do some old fashioned meeting up in person and house meetings. That's what needs to happen. You know, that's exactly what needs to happen. Um, because this platform right here is censoring a lot of people. You know, yeah, they're censoring a lot of alternative voices who are just trying to get people to think. I'm not telling, keep in mind, I am not here to tell you what to do. I'm just here to just say, don't y'all think, even if you are pro vaccine, right? If you're pro vaccine, fine, fine, you know, but do you have a right to force everybody to do what you're doing? That's where I think the line should be drawn. in my opinion. There should be a line drawn in the sand. You should not be able to force somebody to be a part of a clinical trial. And that's exactly what's happening. That's exactly what's happening. No ifs, ands, or buts. Now, the media is not going to frame it that way because once people hear that, that's going to, make them be like, oh, well, I don't want to be a part of a clinical trial. Right? But that's what's happening. I love y'all, man. Thank y'all for rocking with me. And I appreciate y'all for I know there was one person, hopefully he's gone, but I love us. And I see a lot of people will probably be under duress trying to go and get this damn, somebody called it in the chat a bioweapon. Think about, just real quick before I let y'all go, think about the commercials that you see. How many fucking commercials have you seen? If you have taken some medicine that's 16 letters long in the last 5 or 10 years, you may be entitled to compensation. How many of them have you seen? That's the other thing. These pharmaceutical companies, they have immunity for this vaccine, and they're forcing you to get something that has immunity. You cannot sue the pharmaceutical companies if you have an adverse reaction or if a loved one dies. You have no recourse. And you gonna force that shit? There should be an uprising just off of that. These are all facts that I'm saying. I'm not pushing nothing. I'm not telling people what to do. You cannot sue the drug companies for adverse reaction to the COVID-19 vaccine. That's a fact. Number one, they received immunity. The vaccine is only approved under emergency authorization. Fact number two. Fact number three is that there is a federal law that has never been tested. I gave it to you earlier. So for people who are new to the call, these are from my notes from there were attorneys down in Texas that gave a live, licensed attorneys in the state of Texas, Federal 21 U.S. Code, USC 360 triple B. That's the federal law that deals with informed consent, where you can't force people to be a part of a clinical trial under duress or coercion. That law has not been tested until now. There's lawsuits going through the pipeline. There's a lawsuit in northern Alabama. There's a lawsuit out of Texas. There are lawsuits popping up all over the country. Now there's going to be even more since these new mandates came out. The problem is with the lawsuits is that many times it takes a while to make it to the Supreme Court. But these lawsuits are being litigated around that particular federal law that I just quoted you, around informed consent. So I just gave you 3 facts. The vaccine is only approved for emergency use authorization, is not even fully approved, only for emergency use. Number 2, the pharmaceutical companies have immunity. If you have an adverse reaction to the vaccine and become disabled, oh well, you ain't getting no money from them. You're going to have to figure it out. Or if you die or have a family member die, there's no recourse. They just gone. Right? All of those are facts. It's time for us to get really creative, family. Really, really creative. And it's time to let your no be no. If you work at a job that's forcing you to the vaccine, get with some like-minded people and organize. And you get as many people as you can where it will hurt the bottom line of the company for them to go through with it. Yeah. I appreciate y'all. I've been here for 30 minutes. I didn't want to be here long, but I do want everybody that's listening right now, make sure you all come back tomorrow night, 8 p.m. I know it's a Friday, so usually people like to do things that are fun, but most of the people here, I know y'all are serious and interested in this information. So, and of course, it'll be recorded, so it'll always be on the channel. You can go back and watch it. Hopefully, Allison doesn't say anything that flags the algorithms on YouTube where they'll flag it and take it down. So come back tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Um, right. Why would I take a drug when there's full immunity for the creators of the drug? Thank you. That's why people need a choice. This shit is nuts. I can't believe more people are outraged about this. This shit is crazy, y'all. Ain't nothing like this happened in my lifetime. I hear a lot of people saying this is really unprecedented. This is the first time in American history that people that a vaccine has been forced on the population, and you're forced to be a part of a clinical trial. I don't know how true that is. Again, that's what I'm saying. I've seen people say on social media, but and it's crazy because it's a lot of the liberals and so-called leftists that are pushing it. And they don't want you to ask no questions. Just do it. And it's crazy because it's people on the so-called right and libertarians who are pushing back. Man, oh man. Strange times we living in, family. I hope to see y'all tomorrow night at 8 p.m. We'll be back to talk about the Internet of Bio Nano Things. Jesus, that's a mouthful. So, yeah, could you imagine? Right. I appreciate y'all for being here. Make sure y'all share the video, share it with like minded people, people who are thinkers, not people who are just, are robots or what do you call them? I guess a robot or a zombie who just do what they told and no questions asked. Share it with people who are like minded, who would be interested in this type of information. But thank you all for coming. Take care.